Topic of your choice. This time around, will Ayr United do a repeat of Livingston? Right, as welcome back to another video. This video is obviously topic of your choice, and as you've seen, the topic of your choice for this week's video, due to the vote on Twitter basically deciding what I was going to talk about, it will be Ayr United and if they can repeat what Livingston did just last season and the season before that, as we're looking at a back-to-back promotion scenario. Enjoy. First off, I just want to say cheers for getting involved in the vote on Twitter. It got about 80 votes, and I think it was kind of hijacked by a bit of Ayr United Twitter a bit, just because it got retweets for an Ayr United fan and it got shared by a wee Ayr United page, so maybe it kind of got a bit hijacked, but that's the result of the poll, so I'm going to go with that. I'm looking at Ayr United and if they can replicate what Livingston did in the past 2 seasons, and if I'm being honest, I wouldn't put it past them. Of course, with Livingston, they got relegated for the Championship in the 2015-16 season, and then they obviously went on to win League One in the 2016-17 season, and then they went on to go up via the playoffs in the 2017-18 season. And now we have Ayr United, who obviously we beat to promotion. Dunfermline beat them to promotion in the 2015-16 season, and Ayr United couldn't get through the playoffs in that season. And then they went on to not be able to get promotion the year after that, but then in the season after, the 2016-17 season, they got automatic promotion from League One into this season's Championship. And now they're sitting pretty at the top of the league with a relatively good record so far this season. In fact, outstanding for what you would expect them to have achieved already this season. And they're even going off the same sort of mantra as Livingston did all throughout the season, where Livingston were always going on about, oh, we've not reached the 40-point mark yet. And then when they reach the 40-point mark, which is obviously the mark where teams look at and go, well, we're safe for relegation at the moment. But once Livingston reached the 40-point mark, they then just said, we want to finish as high as we possibly can. And they obviously did that. They finished second, which was as high as they possibly could that season without going automatically up. They had the best possible chance of a Championship team in the playoffs. Of course, you have the Premiership team to get by as well. They technically have the best chance in the playoffs. But Livingston then went on to beat Dundee United in the playoffs and then beat Partick Thistle in the playoffs. And it was a very impressive achievement for them, especially by a club of Livingston's size. And you could argue it would be a better achievement for them overall when you look at it on paper than it would be for Ayr United, because Ayr United probably have more of a potential as a club. They have a better overall fan base when things are extremely going the way of the club. Like if the club gets back into the Premiership and say you have a Kilmarnock versus Ayr derby game, you're going to get a lot of fans turning up at Somerset Park, in comparison to Livingston, who are still probably getting between 1,000 and 2,000 attendances on average for their home fans. Maybe even less than that, I'm not entirely sure. But in terms of how you look at this one, I think Ayr United probably have the better chance of replicating what Livingston did, because they do have slightly better resources. Although, I'm extremely surprised that a team including the likes of Andy Geoghegan, Mark Kerr, etc. is sitting at the top of the league right now. Stephen Bell as well. It's incredible what Ayr United are doing at the moment, and it is really replicant of what Livingston did just last season and the season before that. It's taking players that you just wouldn't expect to be at that level. Mark Kerr, for example, released to Falkirk. Andy Geoghegan, although a lot of Dunfermline fans would have kept him, there was a lot of fans that would admit that he wasn't exactly up to his best at the end of his kind of Dunfermline tenure. And now he's sitting at the top of the league. And then a player like Stephen Bell, who was most recently at Stranraer. He got signed by Ayr in the mid of last season, and now he's at the top of the league fighting for promotion in the Premiership. So it's a weird dynamic. It's a weird thing that teams can take players that don't have any right really to be at the top of the league, but they end up doing it through either good management, good team ethics, just a good mentality, and getting that winning mentality and confidence. And of course, for Ayr United, a massive thing for them is Lawrence Shankland and having them at their disposal. I'm not just going to focus on Lawrence Shankland here. I easily could, because the guy's got about 50 goals in 51 or 52 games, and it is just top quality finishing. And Ayr United, if they don't manage to keep him in January, it could completely derail this sort of idea that they could get back-to-back promotions, because Lawrence Shankland is a massive element in why Ayr United have done so well so far this season, and even last season as well. They got promoted based on a lot of his goals, and so far this season obviously he's scored a lot of goals to get them crucial points to push them up to where they are in the league right now. But they certainly do have good attacking players. I've always rated Michael Moffat. He's in Good Guys FC on this channel, and he's just a fantastic football player in terms of the intelligence side of the game. He knows how to play the game, he knows exactly what he needs to do with his own ability, and he was obviously a fantastic goal scorer for Ayr back in his day, but now he's sort of became that sort of playmaker player, and I don't know if he really evolved more into that because of his Dunfermline stint, because he certainly wasn't a fantastic goal scorer when he was at Dunfermline. He became more of a link-up player, and probably one of the main reasons why Faisal El Baitoui had the season he had, because Michael Moffat was there providing the service. But talking about providing the service, Ayr United have got players like Robbie Crawford, Alan Forrest, so they're not exactly light on options, and they've got youngsters like Craig McGuffey coming through as well, who happen to have really good talent as well. So it all adds up to having a really good squad of players. But as I said, there is still that element of, this is quite a, not mediocre, but it's a lower level of what you would expect to be fighting at the top of the league. It just feels a bit more like those two scenarios, Livingston and Ayr United, are very easily linkable just now because of their journey to where they are right now. We were looking at Livingston last season and thinking, oh, they'll fall away eventually, they'll not have the quality, and they never ever did. So are we going to be falling into the same trap with Ayr United? I've seen pundits and different people just saying that Ayr United, I think, will eventually fall away. I think they'll not carry it on throughout a full season. But are we just falling into the same trap that we did with Livingston last season and underestimating them so much? I mean, I'm one to talk. I underestimated them massively at the start of the season. I had them finishing 7th at the end of the season, and I had Falkirk finishing one place above them. And the chances of that happening now? Zero. Falkirk are now sitting bottom of the league and Ayr United are sitting top. So you can take my opinion with a pinch of salt if you want, but Ayr United have no doubt shocked a lot of people in the footballing world, and especially people within Scottish football, of course. They've put together a tremendous run of form from last season and now carrying it on to this season. And with players like Lawrence Shankland and, as I mentioned, attacking players like Michael Moffat, Craig McGuffey, Alan Forrest and Robbie Crawford, they're doing really well for themselves. And as I said, I just wouldn't put it past them to go and do it, whether that's through the playoffs or automatic promotion. I can just see it being one of those scenarios again. And it really proves that teams in this league, like Dundee United, Ross County, who are obviously doing well this season as well, Inverness came down for the Premiership, Partick have came down for the Premiership, and even us, Dunfermline, Falkirk as well, they're doing horrendous in comparison to what they could be doing. But Dunfermline as well, the teams with the bigger budgets in the league could be doing so much more if they get the right management, they get the right team ethics together, because if everything is pulling together in the one direction, it's more than likely going to be a success. Livingston built it off of being a unit and doing everything together, as in on the pitch, going after every ball, work rate 100%. I'm not entirely sure if Ayr United are following that exact mantra, but they're definitely playing really good football and scoring a lot of goals at that. So maybe they're not exactly following Livingston in terms of the tactical side of it, but in terms of the story, it's almost identical. And I'm going to say it once again, I wouldn't put it past Ayr to shut me right up and blow my 7th place prediction out of the water and go and get promoted and completely shove it in my face. So if there's Ayr United fans watching, I'm sorry for predicting your team would finish so low down the table. I don't think that'll ever happen this season, and I'm going to stick my neck out on the line and say that Ayr United will be one of the promotion teams come May 2019, whether that's through the playoffs or automatic. I've just got a feeling. A wee quick mention on Ian McCall, by the way. A fantastic manager, really. He's had numerous kind of times in his Ayr United management career where the fans have said Ian McCall out or in, and I think it's been proven right by the people in charge at Ayr United that Ian McCall is still in charge, because he's obviously doing the right things. He signed up players like Shankland and all the players that are currently in their squad. He's signed them back up for new deals, and he is the man behind this squad of players and the way they're playing right now. They all seem to be playing for him, and it all seems to be swinging in the one direction for them. So well done Ian McCall. He's one of those kind of stalwart managers in Scottish football that just keeps getting success, a bit similar to someone like Dick Campbell at Arbroath. It's just one of those managers that you look at and just want to applaud when he's doing so well at such a kind of 10-year age for a manager. And it just proves that any manager can do it if they have the right abilities. And Ian McCall, despite his maybe few faults that he might have, he's obviously doing the right things with Ayr United just now. And that's it for this video, guys. Cheers for watching. Once again, thanks for getting involved in the poll on my Twitter. I really appreciate you getting involved in it. Obviously, as I said, it maybe got a wee bit hijacked by Ayr United this week, but 80 votes is fantastic, and in the past few weeks it's at least reached 40 votes per poll, so onwards and upwards for that. Comment down below anything you think about Ayr United, and if you think they can do back-to-back promotions and pretty much replicate what Livingston did last season. And also subscribe for more of this type of content. And until the next video, which will be Punt It Long on Wednesday, I'll see you then. Cheers, guys.